Good morning. This is Doreen with ThoughtStorm Journal. Do you believe in God? That's the question of the ages. Now, it may seem cut and dry to those who either definitely believe or definitely don't, but it's not that simple a question for anyone, and I'm going to tell you why. Now, keep in mind, I don't care if you believe in God or not. You can believe whatever you want. I'm not trying to sway anyone. I'm just giving my take to those who might be interested from my unique perspective. I was basically raised as an atheist, and I lived my younger life as a bona fide card-carrying atheist. I had no spiritual upbringing of any kind, and I didn't believe in God based on my own perceptions that I had at the time. But over time, I've come to believe in God, and I'll explain why and how. Whenever someone asks you if you believe in God, your answer may be quick. It's quick because you feel you have a clear grasp of the subject. The answer is either black or it's white. You either believe or you don't believe, right? But there's a whole lot of gray area. When someone asks me if I believe in God, my response is always, first, define God. And this sometimes throws the interviewer for a loop because they have an idea or a definition of God in their mind when they ask the question. And they're quietly assuming that I have the same definition, but I don't. My definition may be very different from theirs or anyone else's. So if you ask me that question of whether I believe in God, the only way we can have a good discussion about it is if I know what your definition is first. So the interviewer says it's a belief in a deity or a supreme being. And I'm like, okay, define deity or supreme being. And they say a divine being or a moral authority. And I'm like, okay, define those things. What's a divine being or moral authority? Because until you have a clear definition of what it is, I can't tell you whether I believe in that or not. So then he's getting a little frustrated with me and he says, okay, how about an unforgiving father looking down on us, judging us? And then I say, no, I don't believe in that. And he says, so you don't believe in God? And I said, I don't believe in an unforgiving father looking down on us, judging us. I didn't call that God. I might believe in God by my own definition and not yours. But did you see how he kind of sneaked his definition in there and projected it onto me? And his definition wasn't the same as mine, so we can talk all day about whether God exists, but we'll never come to a good conclusion until absolutely everyone has the exact same definition. There's nothing black or white about this question at all. When many atheists think of God as I did when I was an atheist, they're referring to the God of certain religions, like the God of Abraham in Judaism or Christianity or the Muslim religion. But those belief systems only each offer their single definition of God, which is just one definition, and it's not even a clear definition either. But you don't have to aspire to one of those religions in order to believe in God. You can believe in God by any number of other definitions. You can pick your own definition of God based on your personal experience. So suppose you were raised in a household in which the family practiced a certain religion, and you, later in life, decided that for some reason you just don't aspire to that religion anymore. So does that mean you no longer believe in God? Or does it mean that you no longer believe in God by the definition given by the doctrine of that religion? Did you know that there are many definitions of God and that you can adopt a new definition? Or did you think that if you rejected the religion of your childhood, that you most certainly must be atheist? Like there's no other choice? Because there are more choices than that. If you're a theist, you chose that because you wanted to. You do believe in God. It's not a question for you. But for atheists, there are many questions. If you're an atheist, it's because you doubt. And so, is it your responsibility to ask the deeper questions? I kind of think so. And it's not just a question of whether God exists or not. It's all about how you define God in the first place. If you define God as mythical or imaginary, then your belief is set. You don't believe in God, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's your choice. But if you define God as something metaphysical or intangible, that's another realm entirely. Some atheists don't believe in anything that's non-physical and claim that's why they don't believe in God. But a very famous scientist, Nikola Tesla, said this: "The day science begins to study non-physical phenomena, it will make more progress in a decade than in all the previous centuries of its existence." I think Tesla was saying that the non-physical realm is the real key to our understanding of the universe. So if God fits into the non-physical category, as some people suggest, does that mean God exists, non-physically speaking? And curiously, Tesla also said, what one man calls God, another calls the laws of physics. Was Tesla alluding to the problem of defining God? But there are plenty of reasons to believe in non-physical things. People believe in all sorts of them. Take time, for instance. Scientists theorize that time may not exist at all, but we all observe time as something that's real. We all structure our lives around it, but the only physical sense we have of it is physically looking at the clock. But isn't the clock just measuring something we've all agreed is real, and nothing that's actually physically real? Pain is another. Is pain real? We can relate to pain because we feel it in our body, but does it actually exist independent of our body in physical form? We say pain is real because we can feel it, but feelings aren't tangible, are they? So are they real? Many people say they believe in God because they can feel God's presence in their heart. So if people claim to feel pain in one of their body parts, and people claim to feel God in their hearts, is feeling God inside of us any less tangible than feeling pain? What if I don't believe you're in pain because I can't feel your pain myself? Does that make it any less real to you? Probably not, and it's the same with feeling God. And instincts. Most everyone believes in instincts, but they are non-physical and no one can weigh or measure them. So are they real? There's a lot of non-physical stuff that's perceived as being real. The question of whether or not God exists is not black and white. And quite frankly, until we all get on the same page about what God actually is, we need to stop arguing about it. It's an argument that can never be won. Either side is going to think they're right no matter what. Arguing is never about finding the truth of something. It's about winning the argument. And no one can win this because none of us has the exact same definition of what God is. And that's because everyone has different perceptions. That's the important thing we need to learn. Differing perceptions are what keep arguments alive. I believe in God as an energy source, a life force, an energy that exists inside me and everything else, the sum total of all the power of all the energy in the universe. And everyone believes energy is real. It's the stuff we're all made of. So why can't that be God? You can believe in God if you want to, or you can choose not to. That's the beauty of our free will. But the idea of God and God's existence runs much, much deeper than most of us even realize. And I think each of us has the responsibility to think it through completely before we make a permanent decision about what we believe and before we criticize other people for what they believe. But here's the question that really matters. What's your definition of God, and how does it affect your decision about what you believe? We'll get in more to the science of this next week. I'll see you soon.